Hey everybody, Craig Hester here with R2AWatches.com, and thank you for joining us as we continue on our journey through all the watches and accessories that are available at R2AWatches.com. I'm going to forego, except for just a quick hit to say, be sure and hit like and subscribe on YouTube, and you want to join that closed group on Facebook, Vostok Europe Timepieces. And that's all I'm going to say about that today, because we do have two wonderful guests here today talking about a new brand that we've just recently become a part of, and we're really excited about what these guys have to offer. It is Stephen Conti and Kareem Kafari. They are a, well, brother-in-law, not brothers by blood, but brother-in-law team, who are the co-founders of Core Timepieces. You may have noticed we've had them on R2A Watches for a little while now, particularly my personal favorite of what they produced. It's called the Seven Sins, which is very different than anything I've really ever seen before in terms of how somebody deals with the date wheel on a watch, and taking a creative approach to what you can do with the mechanics that are already in a watch, not necessarily changing the mechanics themselves like some brands do, but saying, okay, what can I do with this particular aspect of a watch that's going to make this different than anything else you've seen anywhere else. So you guys hear enough from me all the time, so I'm going to turn this over and ask some questions of Stephen and Kareem. So first of all, how did you guys get started with this?
We were out one night in a bar.
That's always a great way to start everything.
Always, right? Like they say, alcohol, the solution and problem to everything. We were out at a bar, and I was getting annoyed with the bartender, hanging out after we placed our order, just surfing Instagram. And he wasn't making our drinks. And it wasn't 10, 15 minutes. It was like 20 minutes. We're sitting there waiting. Now, we were talking. It was okay. But I was getting annoyed. And I started getting colorful and complaining to Kareem. And I'm like, look at this guy with a stupid Mickey Mouse watch. Now, I love the Mickey Mouse watch. But anything this guy had was stupid, whether I liked it or not, just because he was pissing me off. I said, you know what? I'm going to make my own Mickey Mouse watch. I'm like, this guy is just sitting here on Instagram, worrying about what other people think about him, not doing his job. If he did his job, I can go on and on about Instagram. I'm not going to. I told Kareem, like, we should do a Mickey Mouse watch. And automatically, he was like, yeah, we should definitely do that. Now, I'm an artist and designer. Kareem's in manufacturing and production. We talk about stuff all the time. I did not think he was serious. And I'm sketching out on a napkin what I thought it could look like. And he asked, he's like, oh, we can put in the complications. And I was not a watch guy at the time. And I didn't know what he was talking about. And he's like, yeah, like the 7 days of the week. And I'm like, no. I go, nobody who doesn't know what day it is should be getting out of bed. I go, we don't need to put the day of the week on the watch. I'm like, he's like, well, we should put something. I'm like, and I had two ideas, and maybe I shouldn't tell you this first idea because maybe we'll do it. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you the first idea, but I'm like, we'll do the 7 deadly sins. And he loved it. And then we got our drink, and, we kind of forgot about it. Oh, I should say I forgot about it. A month or maybe 2 months later, we're hanging out, and he hands me a watch. I'm like, what is this? He's like, it's your watch. And I was blown away. I was like, whoa. I'm like, you did this? He's like, of course. He's like, we talked about it. I'm like, wow, I guess we're really doing it. And that's how we got started. At the time, we were calling ourselves Sharp Brothers because of the blade. We had the switchblade hands.
Right.
I'm like, I can do the Mickey Mouse watch. I go, but I want to do it with Mickey Mouse with a switchblade. And Kareem was like, that's going to be a lot of money to license Mickey Mouse. I'm like, all right, we don't need Mickey Mouse. I'll just do the switchblade for the hands. So that's kind of how it came about. We were talking about names, just playing around. Sharp Brothers came about. And yeah, we went into manufacturing. We had a Kickstarter campaign. Kareem, I don't know if you want to talk about the Kickstarter and our plans for Art Basel and how that all got.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just like Stephen said, great idea. My background is in manufacturing and kind of making ideas come to life. You know, it was quite a experiment to try to, you know, pull off the watch, and obviously the Sins wheel and what movement to use and what we wanted to put into the watch as far as, you know, kind of the kitchen sink as far as quality, making sure it was a well-built watch, not just some novelty piece. You know, ceramic bezel, sapphire crystal, 300-meter depth, you know, PVD coated, really a high Japanese automatic movement, you know, really a high quality piece that would be a tank, you know, that people could wear and really, you know, thoroughly enjoy outside of it being artistically beautiful and sound and conceptually sound. So, you know, we did go out with a Kickstarter campaign. It was successful. And then we decided to do our official launch, not at a watch show or anything else, but at Art Basel. And we did that because, you know, from the beginning, we always wanted to sort of make timepieces that were not just that had a little bit of a higher purpose to it, or had a little bit of a slant to it, an artistic slant. So what better place to launch something like that than an art show? So we opened it up at Art Basel, and we had a very well-known local graffiti artist by the name of Aladdin every day in our booth spray paint. He was a graffiti artist, spray paint a different sin, and kind of a conceptual idea around a sin. So as people came by, they would see sort of live art happening with these like watches that would switch to different sins. And we sort of would record people coming into the booth saying, you know, what sin, you know, are you? Do you embrace it? Do you rebel against it? And it was this whole idea that, I mean, that's obviously not the kind of conversations you have at a watch booth, you know, around what drives you, what motivates you. Do you gravitate towards, or do you run away from this kind of a sin? And can the watch be more of a moral compass? So, you know, again, it really started with a very unique artistic concept, and then grew from there into something that I think is what people really have appreciated, which is the depth of the watch, the feelings, the emotions behind the watch, and that it can really kind of drive you to almost, you know, think through how you want to live your day. Do you want to gravitate towards, or do you want to kind of go against a sin as you either set it on your watch or let it go through an automatic cycle every 24 hours? You know, whatever your choices. You can quick set, or you can, you know, have it cycle as you see fit. So yeah, I mean, that kind of was the beginnings of this.
I just want to add that at the art show, we hooked up with other artists, and we have plans moving forward to do sort of these art pieces with these artists. You know, that was where we came up with the idea for the Fury watch. We had that developed at Art Basel, and our plan from the start was, let's go to these art shows, let's go to music festivals, tattoo shows, knife shows. Not that we wouldn't go to watch shows, but let's be the only watch company at a show. We thought we could do better that way. And Art Basel was the first one we went to. It was received with, everybody loved it. We were getting artists coming from all over saying, we heard about you watch guys. It was a great thing. And then COVID happened. And that's when we sort of were like, well, there's no way we're going to be able to do, you know, live events. So we sort of put the brakes on, and that was when we did the rebrand. You know, we thought, you know, the new name could afford us the ability to develop other models, and not just these, I hate saying cutting edge, it's what came to mind right now, these sort of ideas and designs that came out of a story. You know, and it was that story first. It was like, this guy is driving me crazy. You know, all he wants to do is go on Instagram. There's got to be a better way to go through life. And we developed it that way. And then, yeah, like I said, quarantine happened, we rebranded, and that's kind of where we're at now, you know, with Core Timepieces.
So when it was on Kickstarter, it was still under the name Sharp Brothers.
Yeah.
Correct.
So you have two models now. You have the.
We have two models. The 1/7 Sins model, we have an automatic and a quartz.
Right, and the automatic is basically sold out.
Yeah.
We did sell out of the automatic, which was underneath of the Sharp Brothers name. We are looking to do a rerun of that under the Core Timepieces name, and the new quartz watches, as you can see on the website or otherwise, do have the Core insignia at the 12 o'clock position, whereas the previous versions had our dagger right there at the 12 o'clock position for Sharp Brothers. Yeah, we have 3 different colors for the quartz. We played around with some different color options. We did a polar option with like a white face. We did a silver face. We did a red face watch. So we definitely had, you know, a couple of different, you know, models of watch face and colors. And then Fury. So we have the automatic, we have the quartz, which have 3 versions there, and then we do have the Fury watch, which was a little bit of a departure. With the case style and so on. We sort of took, you know, some inspiration from some of the, you know, Orient style shape watch and so forth, and kind of, you know, we're going in a bit of that direction with that watch. And that one comes in 3 colors too, a blue, a red, and a green for the Fury watch.
So what's the story behind the Fury watch?
It's
I would say the story behind that watch is primarily around just a general overarching concept of passion. You know, the idea of, you know, what burns within each one of you, what fuels you as a person. And it definitely does not have the same kind of a story that the Seven Sins does.
it's just a different story.
Yeah, just a different sort of approach to it. But yeah, Fury, everything about Fury has always been about, you know, what motivates you, what sort of like drives you as a person.
Yeah, and in the beginning, we were interviewing all different types of people, you know, hot rod restoration mechanics, tattoo artists, musicians, artists, and we were getting pictures with the watch on their wrist, and they were talking to us about their passion, and you know, we interviewed them in their setting. So we had that idea, and then that even morphed even further. So yeah, the Fury is all about being furious, being driven. What is that burning passion?
So where did the name Core come from?
Core came from sort of, I grew up in New York City in the New York hardcore punk rock scene, and I wanted to call it hardcore. And that, obviously we didn't. I didn't want them to think, you know, adult entertainment when they saw hardcore. Yeah. But what it really means is it's to the core. There's no BS. There's no frills. It's true. It's what you truly believe in, and it's about, you know, doing it yourself and being true to yourself. And that's sort of where that came out. That's where that came from. You know, core, being at the core. And then the logo with the cube, there are all these different sides and different facets to it, but at the core, we are still the same as everybody.
Right. So,
you know, when we started, you know, we were talking with marketing agencies, and they were doing all this market research. And we don't need to do market research. I'm like, not that I don't care who it is, but you know, we're all the same. And like, well, and they did it, and it turned out that it focused on, what was it, 35 to 50-year-olds, which was me, at a certain economic level, which was me. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm there. It's me. And I felt really good about that. I'm like, because I designed it for me. And it turned out that that's kind of that's who's gravitating to it. We were pleasantly surprised at Art Basel when women were coming and buying the watches. And we, I guess, mistakenly were asking, like, oh, is this for your husband, your boyfriend, whatever? And they're like, no, it's for me. And it turned out that I think it was a majority of the watches we sold to women. So
what's the millimeter size on the case on the Seven Sins? The case, what's the case size on the Seven Sins?
I'm gonna defer to Kareem.
Oh,
I believe it's 42. Let me just
Okay.
give me a second here if you don't mind.
Well, it
got,
doesn't have to be perfect, but as I
know-
recall, it wasn't a really big watch.
Correct.
No, it's not. It's a standard diver size. I just can't remember off the top of my head what the
No
millimeters.
problem.
The quartz Seven Sins is 42 millimeter case.
It's the same. It's 42. It's 42 automatic, 42 quartz. Yep.
The reason I asked is that plays right into what you're saying about women buying it. We found the same thing. If you stay below that 44 mark, you tend to keep women. You tend to have some women customers. You get above 44, it's only going to be the women who are, forgive me, hardcore about watches.
Yeah.
So it honestly, having seen the watch and held it in my hands, and the story that goes along with it, I'm not surprised you had women customers. That's completely logical to me. And that's why I was confirming the size, because there does tend to be an upper limit that most women want to wear. I mean, we call it the boyfriend watch, and they and some women will. We have female customers who will wear watches that are 48-50, but that's an unusual. That's not common. All right, so right now.
That's a great idea, the boyfriend line, the boyfriend watch, the boyfriend Oxford shirt, boyfriend boxers.
Yeah, that's right. And well, I didn't come up with that terminology. It actually comes back from my days on TV. They referred to it as when women were buying the men's watches, they were buying the boyfriend watch. That they wanted to wear. The idea being they were wearing their boyfriend's watch, basically, even though they may own it. Still, that was the idea. So right now we've got just to kind of do a quick recap. We've got Stephen and Kareem here, and they are a team of brother-in-law team, co-founders of Core Timepieces, originally Sharp Brothers, but now Core Timepieces. That's why you may find that if you pick up some of their early models, you're still going to see Sharp Brothers on the packaging and possibly on the watch. That's going away as they convert over to being a Core Timepieces being their name. They did that to be able to have a broader palette of things that would be available to them, as opposed to simply focusing on the switchblade that they did in their hands, which is really cool. I mean, it looks fantastic, but you're right, that's kind of a one-off. You don't want every one of your watches to have switchblade hands. Then you're tying yourself to only one real kind of a style that you can do. Yes. We are carrying them at r2awatches.com right now. And we've actually already sold several pieces, and we have had really positive feedback from our customers about them. And I love the story. I love the fact that it's a family business. We're a family business. And I believe in small businesses and what we can do, and that we're the backbone of the American economy. And you're talking about two guys sitting in a bar having a really cool idea, and a few months later you have a real product that's out there in the market, and people are responding to it. So it doesn't get any cooler than that. So I think we covered the basics. I feel like I know the brand a lot better. I feel like our viewers are going to know the brand a lot better. I will tell you that Abe and I are looking forward to what's coming out next, and can't wait to see what that secret idea you didn't want to talk about earlier. I'm wondering if you're going to have a Cardinal Virtues watch. That one with just about everybody would fail if that was what they were looking at every day, is what are the Cardinal Virtues. Right. So and of course the first thing that comes to everybody's mind when you think about this is the film Seven, of course. But yes, is where we all learned what the 7 deadly sins were, unless you were really a religious person. And the funny thing is, they're actually not in the Bible. That comes from Dante's Inferno. It doesn't come.
Yep. Correct. And we once we had that 7 sins line going, and I was doing all the design for the watch and for the marketing, I was learning about other 7 sins. Like there's a Japanese anime manga or movie sins, and there's a lot out there.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. There's more than, just like there's more than one version of the 10 Commandments. And that is biblical. So, all right, guys. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us today, and I'm really looking forward to what we're gonna be able to do together. And I know that our customers are going to love your watches.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We really are very, very honored to be a part of your shop and your family over there. And we're going to just continue to innovate over here and bring some really, really unique pieces, as we continue to go forward, and just look forward to talking more about it and letting you know about what we're doing over here.
That sounds fantastic. And for the show, I appreciate it, guys. And hey, keep watching.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it,
Bye-bye.
guys.
All right.
Thank you. All right.